Mercy sees all.
Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by. Langrenus crater. The crater is different, the one that you see right here in the center, the big white one, as compared to what NASA posted on Wikipedia. There are several more objects in Langrenus crater here when I'm showing it as to when Wikipedia showed it in 2000, I don't know when. As for this footage, it was taken when, do you guys think? Guys, every time the moon's out, I film it for hours. This was 3 days ago. So this is Langrenus crater looking at the surface. Now let's take down the exposure and invert the photo. You can see several details on the surface. Hard to see, but you can see that there's objects, and that's basically what I'm trying to tell people that there are inside of Langrenus crater. You'd think that NASA's cameras definitely would get the objects on the surface. They're showing us always a gray, flat surface in the craters, and I believe that is deliberate. It doesn't mean it is deliberate, but if I'm getting it with a regular telescope, a good regular telescope, a big enough one, 14-inch, why wouldn't NASA or even Hubble? Obviously, they're even closer. They're outside of the atmospheric disturbance of Earth. You can be sure as hell the images are going to be a lot more clear than me getting the surface with a telescope. Here's more recent footage, and say to yourself, the entire footage that's here on the channel, I've been here for 3 years. It's a lot younger than 60-year-old photos, that's for sure, like photos that NASA has for us to see the surface. Many people say that NASA photos look like they're tampered with, or that there's brushed out areas and strokings on them. Well, stop looking at them. Get your own telescopes, get up to the surface of the moon, and look for yourselves. We're analyzing my research. I've found UFOs on the surface. I'm always showing new footage. This is how the channel works. You're looking at new footage right now, and I go back in my research of my captures. Obviously, like every single other astronomer are still talking about their captures, I will also show you the new things that I do with the research, because I always enhance it more and get even closer and clarify it, and always just with the adjustment of the exposure. But look at the colorful surface. Isn't it amazing? We're going to get in close to see the real colors on the surface, and low angle views to get an idea of exactly what the surface looks like. And we're going to be looking at the UFOs that I've showed you before on the surface firing. But I did something to my research. Now this is why I'm here, to show you guys anything I can find out in my research, and you will be surprised that once again I saw projectiles being shot out of a UFO craft, that the light was changing, also directional changes on the craft. So what's the difference with a big telescope and a smaller telescope? Well, everything. And we'll see here as we advance to this beautiful crater where we're just by Cassini, crossing over the Apennine Mountains, which are said to be 10 or 12,000 feet just below Mount Everest here on Earth. We're seeing the objects and structures, the mountains themselves, lying down and pressed up against the surface because of what they say, the term foreshortening, the parallax. That is what science says. Whether it's true or not, I'm not really here to say that. I'm just trying to show what's up there. But that's, yes, what science says, that there's an optical illusion. We see things on the ground. So with that said, let's get a narrow up on the difference of what we can see with a bigger scope is these little details that are around the craters. Obviously, the more well-defined they are, the better the camera is, the more megapixels. And it's not just only about the megapixels, but it does help to get a better image of the surface. And that's what we do as we progress. As I'm progressing through the years of my research, I've only been here 3 years completely this month. So every single image here is only 3 years old. And people say that I post the same things. What's not true, actually. One person's the bloody troll that keeps repeating the same bloody thing. And this is all recent footage. It's never been seen before. I've shown Hyginus crater like you're seeing here, but never like this. See the colors? We are close to the surface, and we're seeing colors that are naturally there on the surface or were put there. But, oh yeah, we do see clumps that look like vegetation. I sure do. And we're going to get in really close. This is so close. It is so close. And no, I've never showed it before, obviously. And look inside of this crater right there. You could see lights inside of it. They're light sources in the dark, 1,000 feet into the crater, deep inside this light, oscillating, billowing, a light source. We're also going to see, wait till you see the UFOs. I love this. Look at the surface. I love seeing the textures on the surface. It looks patchy, does it not? Doesn't it look like vegetation? The surface does have green patches. Definitely does. And I like seeing it more and more. You know, you talk about that and, you know, some of the trolls get mad. Listen, maybe it's not vegetation. Who really cares? We're just seeing an awesome surface. There's structures there. Whether it's green or snowy, there's still structures. So look at the surface. Just absolutely incredible. But look inside of the craters and along the outside of the craters. They're on fire. That's not the sun. It's definitely not the sun. Is there any refraction of light in this? Of course, there's refraction of light. But like my French friend said, officiel, bricolateur, je t'aime mon frère, he was talking about, literally, not purposely, but he was valorizing my work. That's what I think he was doing. He's showing and explaining how cameras work, how photographers can zoom up as close as they can, take down the exposure of the camera, but they remain in a distance where the pixelation does not begin. And that is what I'm doing in my research. Now, I appreciate you, my friends, to really pay attention to what I'm saying in this video, please. This is Bessel Crater. We're inside Mare Serenitatis. I want you to look at each object as we are progressing and moving across the surface. Notice that the objects that are on the surface are not changing places. They're not changing sizes or shapes. They're remaining the same as we're progressing through the surface. It is a real topography of the moon that you're seeing, and you're not seeing a layer of pixelation. We're staying away from the limits of the telescope and the pixelation to be able to show a proper surface. Now I'm going to talk to you about something exceptional. It's a very interesting theory I have, which I'm sure many will be talking about at one point, if not already. Could the UFOs on the surface be following and guided by a magnetic field? So that layer of supposed water we see over the moon, could it be a magnetic field around the moon, and that is what is propelling these spacecrafts? Now look here to the left, a light on the left side of the craft. Yes, so let's see that again. We're going to look at a light on the left side of the rectangular craft, as these objects are all traveling in the same wavelength or field around them, okay, like in a vacuum, and they're all following each other, weaving across the sky in the same exact way. Just like the crafts were guided by one thing, or that they were being controlled and traveling in one area or vacuum, like in a vacuum. Look at this. What was that? That was a propulsion. Something shot out or appeared around this UFO. Now watch the UFO. We're going to go look at it turning its shooting out propulsion, shooting out projectiles. Keep watching. I'm showing it up. Look all around the craft as I keep showing this. Lights are coming outside, from the outside of this bloody object, the craft, on the surface. Now watch this. It's going to change size, and its light's going to show a directional light change inside of that cloud or mist on the surface, and we could clearly see the beautiful UFO itself turning around on the surface. Research is not getting out there at all, unfortunately, and look at the amazing proof. This, I've shown it before. Look at the amazing proof of a UFO and the interaction of projectiles or lit objects that are appearing around this UFO that comes out of the darkness, where you actually see it light up. Keep watching. It's pretty incredible. So the UFO is leaving the surface, going higher up and igniting, and then explosions. Now, Theophilus crater. Look inside, guys. I'm over pixelated. I'm too close to the crater Theophilus. But do you see what it is showing us and why? Do you understand why I wanted to show you this? There's an object traveling alongside Theophilus crater inside of the crater, and it doesn't even look like it's flying. It actually looks like it's on the ground inside along the crater's edge. For whatever the reason you'd like to send me something, here is my mailing address.
This is Houston. Say again, please.